We're charging you $200 per month for family membership, Dad announced. Everyone contributes to sister's kids' activities. I was the only one without kids. That's fair, I said, and paid for 6 months. Then I stopped attending anything. A year later, when they saw my son's birth announcement and realized I'd had a baby they knew nothing about, the group chat lit up with over 150 calls and texts. The moment Dad finished reading from his printed spreadsheet, I knew I'd been categorized. We're charging you $200 a month for family membership, he announced. Everyone contributes to sister's kids' activities. I was the only one without kids. That's fair, I said. My wife Sarah's hand found mine under the table. Squeezed once. Warning. I paid for 6 months. $1,200. Then I stopped attending anything. A year later, when they saw my son's birth announcement and realized I'd had a baby they knew nothing about, the group chat exploded with over 150 calls and texts in 3 hours. My name is Daniel. I'm 38 years old. I work as a real estate agent, specializing in commercial properties. Most people in my family think I'm a bookkeeper at a grocery chain because that's what I told them 7 years ago. What they don't know is that I own a portfolio of 12 rental properties worth approximately $4.2 million, and that last year alone, my commissions totaled $340,000. I never corrected their assumption about the bookkeeping job. There was a reason for that. I'm the middle child. My older sister Rachel is 42. My younger brother Trevor is 34. Rachel was always the golden child. Married her high school sweetheart at 21. Had 3 kids by 28. Stayed home. Did everything right by my parents' standards. Her husband Mark works in sales. Makes decent money. Not great money. They live paycheck to paycheck with 3 kids in sports, music lessons, tutoring, summer camps. Trevor married late, at 32. No kids yet. Works in tech. Remote. Makes good money but spends it all on travel and hobbies. I was the quiet one. The one who moved across town instead of staying in the neighborhood. The one who married a woman my family met twice before the wedding. The one who didn't come to every Sunday dinner. The one they barely thought about. When I was 23, I started working at Morrison's Grocery as a bookkeeper. It was my first job out of college. I worked there for 2 years. Hated every second of it. But I learned something valuable. I was good with numbers. Good with budgets. Good with seeing what buildings were worth. At 25, I got my real estate license. Started small. Residential properties. Saved everything. Bought my first rental property at 27. A duplex for $140,000. Fixed it up myself on weekends. Rented it out. Used that income to qualify for the next property. I told my family I was still bookkeeping at Morrison's. Just got a small raise. Nothing exciting. Why lie? Because I'd watched what happened when Trevor got his first tech job at 26. Made $95,000 his first year. Told everyone at Thanksgiving. Dad asked him to co-sign a loan for Rachel's minivan. Trevor said yes. Rachel defaulted after 8 months. Trevor's credit tanked. He had to pay off $18,000 he never agreed to spend. Family helps family, Dad said when Trevor complained. I learned the lesson Trevor learned the hard way. Success in this family meant you became the ATM. So I kept quiet. Bought properties. Grew my business. Lived modestly. Sarah understood. She'd grown up in a similar family. She knew. Don't tell them, she said when I closed on my 3rd property. The moment they know you have money, you won't have money anymore. She was right. Rachel's oldest, Emily, turned 12 3 years ago. That's when the activities started multiplying. Travel soccer, piano, tutoring. Her middle child, Josh, played hockey. Her youngest, Lily, did gymnastics. The costs were insane. Rachel posted about them constantly on Facebook. Another $340 hockey tournament this weekend. Emily's piano competition in Nashville, $800 for the hotel alone. Always with a martyred emoji. Always with worth it for my babies. Mark's sales job wasn't keeping up. I heard them arguing at Christmas 2 years ago. In the bathroom. Thought the door was closed. It wasn't. We can't afford this, Mark said. Something has to give. My parents will help, Rachel said. They always do. Your parents are retired. They don't have unlimited money. Then we'll ask Daniel. Or Trevor. I stood there, holding a plate of cookies. Frozen. Sarah appeared next to me. Walk away, she whispered. I did. The Sunday dinner invitation came from Dad in March last year. Family meeting, the text said. Important. Everyone needs to be there. Sarah had a work thing. I went alone. Everyone was there. Mom, Dad, Rachel and Mark, Trevor and his wife Amy. Rachel's 3 kids were at Mark's parents'. Dad had a spreadsheet printed out. Placed it in the center of the table like a legal document. We need to talk about fairness, he began. I should have left then. Rachel and Mark are struggling with the kids' activities. These opportunities are important. They build character. They build futures. But they're expensive. Mom nodded along. She always did. So we've created a family membership program. Everyone contributes based on their income and family size. Trevor leaned forward. What does that mean? Dad slid the spreadsheet toward us. Mom and Dad, $150 per month. Daniel, $200 per month. Trevor and Amy, $250 per month. Rachel and Mark, $50 per month. You two don't have kids, Dad said, looking at Trevor and me. You have disposable income. Rachel has 3 children. These costs are crushing them. Family helps family. There it was. The phrase. The weapon. Trevor exploded. This is insane. We're saving for our own kids. For a house. You make good money, Dad said. You can afford both. Amy stood up. This is manipulation. We're leaving. If you leave, you're choosing money over family, Mom said quietly. It was the first thing she'd said. The most devastating thing. Trevor and Amy left anyway. Everyone looked at me. Sarah had warned me this was coming. She'd seen the same dynamic in her family. They'll frame it as helping the kids, she'd said. Not helping Rachel. The kids. That's how they'll get you. I looked at the spreadsheet. At my line, $200 per month. I thought about my 12 rental properties. My $340,000 income last year. My $180,000 in savings. My comfortable life. I thought about Emily, Josh, and Lily. My niece and nephews. I love them. Orchestrated dramatic narrative with emotional stakes and engagement hooks. I thought about becoming Trevor. Exploding. Fighting. Losing. That's fair, I said. Rachel exhaled. Smiled. Thank you, Danny. This means so much. Dad reached across and shook my hand. You're doing the right thing. I paid for 6 months. $1,200 total. Sent Venmo payments on the first of each month to Mom. She distributed it to Rachel's activity accounts. I attended Emily's piano recital in April. Josh's hockey game in May. Lily's gymnastics showcase in June. Rachel posted photos on Facebook. Tagged me. So grateful for family support. Uncle Danny came to cheer on Emily. Hashtag family first, hashtag blessed. In the comments, people wrote, what a great brother. Family is everything. Nobody asked how I was. Nobody asked about my life. I was there to applaud, to contribute, to fill the role assigned to me. Sarah noticed what I didn't want to admit. They don't see you, she said one night in July. They see a wallet. They're family. Are they? In August, I stopped going to events. Stopped responding to the group chat. Stopped attending Sunday dinners. I also stopped sending the $200. The first text came from Mom on August 3rd. Danny, we didn't receive your contribution this month. Everything okay? I didn't respond. The second text came from Rachel on August 5th. Hey, Mom said you forgot the family membership. Can you send it today? Emily's competition fees are due. I didn't respond. Dad called on August 7th. I let it go to voicemail. Daniel, this is your father. I don't know what's going on, but we had an agreement. Your mother is worried. Call me back. I didn't call back. The group chat lit up. Mom, has anyone heard from Danny? Rachel, he's probably just busy with work. Dad, he's avoiding responsibility. Trevor, maybe he finally realized how messed up this whole thing is. Rachel, Trevor, not now. Trevor, I'm just saying. Mom, this isn't about money. This is about family. I muted the chat. Sarah was 6 weeks pregnant. We'd been trying for 2 years. Had gone through 3 rounds of IVF. $47,000 in medical bills. Countless appointments. Heartbreak after heartbreak. When the test came back positive on July 18th, we didn't tell anyone. Not our parents. Not my parents. Nobody. I want to make sure it's viable first, Sarah said. I can't handle everyone's opinions right now. I agreed. We went to every appointment alone. No baby shower. No gender reveal party. No Facebook announcements. When Sarah's pregnancy became visible at 20 weeks, she wore loose clothing to the grocery store. We avoided restaurants where we might see family. In December, at 32 weeks, we moved. Bought a bigger house 3 towns over. Didn't tell my family. They didn't ask where I'd been for 4 months anyway. Our son was born on February 14th, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfectly healthy. We named him James. We spent 5 days in the hospital. Sarah's parents came. Brought flowers. Met their grandson. Cried happy tears. My phone stayed off the entire time. When we got home, Sarah's mom had stocked our fridge. Her dad had assembled the crib. They held James. Took photos. Left us to rest. Shouldn't you tell your family? Sarah's mom asked gently. Sarah looked at me. I shook my head. Not yet, I said. Sarah understood. Her mother didn't push. 3 weeks later, I was ready. I posted one photo on Facebook. James asleep in my arms. One caption, "Welcome to the world, James Daniel. Born February 14th, 2024. I tagged Sarah. I didn't tag anyone else. I posted it at 8:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. My phone started ringing at 8:48 p.m. Mom. Dad. Rachel. Rachel again. Dad again. Mom again. Text messages flooded in. Mom. Danny? You had a baby? Rachel. Why didn't you tell us? When did this happen? Dad. This is unacceptable. Call me immediately. Rachel. I can't believe you kept this from us. We're your family. Mom. I'm coming over right now. Send me your address. Rachel. Mom's devastated. How could you do this? The group chat exploded. 47 messages in 10 minutes. Trevor sent one message directly to me. Congratulations, man. He's beautiful. I responded to Trevor. Thank you. I didn't respond to anyone else. At 9:15 p.m., Dad called. I answered. Where is Sarah's hospital? He demanded. We're coming to see our grandson. She's home. We've been home for 3 weeks. Silence. 3 weeks, he repeated. You've had a son for 3 weeks and didn't tell your own parents. That's correct. Why? Because I didn't want to. That's not a reason. It's the only reason you're getting. Daniel, I don't know what's happened to you, but this is cruel. Your mother is crying. Rachel is devastated. You've hurt this family deeply. I paid $1,200 to be part of this family. When I stopped paying, nobody noticed I was gone for 6 months. So I don't think I hurt anyone. I just stopped funding Rachel's kids' activities. That's what this is about. Money? We raised you better than this. You raised me to believe family helps family. I helped. Then I realized I wasn't family. They treated me like the backup fund. So I withdrew. You're being dramatic. I had a son, Dad. 3 weeks ago. Nobody called to check on me in 6 months. Nobody asked why I wasn't at Sunday dinners. Nobody wondered if I was okay. You noticed when the money stopped. You didn't notice when I did. I hung up. My phone rang 31 more times that night. I turned it off. The next day, they showed up at my old address. The landlord called me. There are people here claiming to be your parents. They're demanding to know where you moved. Tell them you can't release tenant information. Already did. They're not leaving. Call the police if they don't leave in 10 minutes. They left in 8. Mom texted from the old address. We just want to meet our grandson. I responded, no. Rachel texted, please, Danny. The kids want to meet their cousin. I responded, the kids don't know he exists. You want to meet him? The answer is no. Dad texted, you're punishing us for asking you to contribute to family. I responded, I'm protecting my son from people who only value me for money. The group chat continued. Mom, he won't let us see the baby. Rachel, this is so hurtful. Dad, he's being cold. Trevor, have any of you asked yourselves why he didn't tell you? Rachel, not now, Trevor. Trevor, exactly my point. The voicemails were worse. Rachel, Danny, please. I'm sorry if we made you feel used. That was never our intention. We just needed help and you were always so generous. Please let us see James. Emily made him a card. She's asking why you don't love us anymore. Mom, sweetheart, I don't understand what happened. We love you. We've always loved you. Please call me. I just want to hear your voice. I want to hold my grandson. Dad, this has gone far enough. You're being selfish and immature. Family doesn't punish family like this. You need to grow up and let this grudge go. I deleted them all. Sarah listened to one before I deleted it. Rachel's. The one about Emily's card. That's manipulative, Sarah said. Using the kids. I know. Are you okay? I'm perfect, I said. And I meant it. James was 3 weeks old, sleeping in his bassinet. Sarah was recovering beautifully. We had everything we needed. We had peace. Week 2 of silence. The attempts changed. Rachel sent a baby gift to my old address. The landlord forwarded it. A onesie that said, best nephew ever, and a card. We love you already, James. Love, Aunt Rachel, Uncle Mark, Emily, Josh, and Lily. I donated the onesie. Threw away the card. Mom tried a different approach. She texted, I respect that you need space. But please know we love you. When you're ready, we're here. It was the first message that didn't demand anything. I didn't respond, but I didn't block her either. Dad sent one final text. You're making a mistake. Family is all we have. You'll regret this. I blocked him. Trevor called in March. I answered. Hey, he said. I'm not calling to convince you of anything. I just wanted to say congratulations properly. Amy and I are really happy for you guys. Thanks, Trev. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. What they did to you, and to me, was wrong. I should have stood my ground like you did. You did stand your ground. You left that dinner. And then I came back. Apologized. Started paying $100 a month as a compromise. I'm still paying it. Why? Because Amy wants kids. And she's afraid if we don't maintain the relationship, they won't have grandparents. They'll have grandparents who teach them that love is conditional, that you're only valuable if you contribute financially, that boundaries are punishments. Silence. Yeah, Trevor said quietly. You're right. You don't have to keep paying. I know. I'm just not as strong as you. You are. You just haven't realized it yet. We talked for an hour. About James. About his job. About everything except the family drama. At the end, he said, "Can I meet him sometime?" James. Yeah. Come this weekend. Trevor and Amy came Saturday. Brought a thoughtful gift, a set of baby books. Held James. Took photos. Acted like normal uncles and aunts. Don't post these anywhere, I said. We won't, Trevor promised. They kept their word. 6 months passed. James grew. Started smiling. Started sleeping through the night. Sarah went back to work part-time. Life was good. The messages from my family slowed. Then stopped. In August, 1 year exactly since I'd stopped paying the family membership, I received a text from Mom. Your father had a heart attack. He's in ICU. I thought you should know. I stared at the message for 20 minutes. Sarah found me. What's wrong? I showed her. What do you want to do? She asked. I don't know. Do you want him to die without meeting James? That was the question, wasn't it? I thought about Dad. About the spreadsheet. About family helps family. About the 31 phone calls I didn't answer. About the fact that he'd demanded access to my son without ever apologizing for treating me like an ATM. I also thought about the fact that he was my father. That he'd taught me to ride a bike. That he'd come to my high school graduation. That he'd walk me through my first job interview. People are complicated. I'll go, I said. Alone. For 1 hour. The hospital was 40 minutes away. I walked into ICU at 3 p.m. Mom was there. Rachel was there. Trevor was there. Mom stood when she saw me. Started crying. Tried to hug me. I stepped back. I'm here for Dad. That's all. She nodded. Sat down. Rachel stood. Danny, Not now. I walked into Dad's room. He was awake. Pale. Wires everywhere. But awake. Daniel, he said. Voice weak. Dad, you came. Mom said you had a heart attack. Mild one. They say I'll be fine. Good. We sat in silence. I'm sorry, he finally said. I waited. I didn't realize what we were doing to you. To Trevor. I thought we were helping Rachel. Helping the kids. I didn't see that we were hurting you. You saw? You just didn't care. He closed his eyes. You're right. The moment I stopped being useful, I stopped existing to you. All of you. 6 months. Nobody called. Nobody checked on me. But when you saw I had a son, suddenly I mattered again. Not because you loved me. Because you wanted access to him. That's not. It is true, Dad. And you know it. He was quiet. I have a son now, I said. And I will never let him feel the way you made me feel. Like his worth is tied to what he can provide. Like love is a transaction. I never meant to make you feel that way. But you did. And you never apologized. Until now. When you're in a hospital bed. When you're scared. I'm apologizing now. I know. And I appreciate it. But it doesn't erase a year of silence. It doesn't erase the spreadsheet. It doesn't erase treating me like a bank. Dad opened his eyes. Looked at me. Can I meet him? James. I thought about it. Not yet, I said. Maybe someday. But not yet. You need to prove that you've changed. That this isn't just a scared apology. That you actually value me as a person, not as a source of money. How do I do that? I don't know. But I'll know it when I see it. I stood up. I hope you recover fully, Dad. I really do. But I'm not ready to let you back into my life yet. I understand. I walked to the door. Stopped. And for the record, I'm not a bookkeeper. I haven't been for 13 years. I'm a real estate agent. I own 12 rental properties worth $4.2 million. Last year, I made $340,000. The year before, $380,000. You never asked what I actually did for a living. You just assumed. And I let you. Because I knew the moment you found out I had money, you'd take it. I left. In the hallway, Rachel caught me. Danny, please. I'm sorry. I didn't know it hurt you this much. You didn't care? There's a difference. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? Being the only person without kids and being charged the most in the family membership. You know what's not fair? Having nobody ask about my life for 6 months. You know what's not fair? Using your kids as emotional pressure to manipulate me into giving you access to my son. I wasn't. Emily made him a card? Really, Rachel? Emily doesn't know James exists. You told her to make a card to guilt me. That's manipulative. That's ugly. She started crying. I was desperate. For what? Money? Or relationship? She didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said. I walked past her. Trevor was waiting by the elevator. That took guts, he said. It took a year of silence to build that guts. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Trev. We rode the elevator down together. At the parking lot, he stopped. I stopped paying, he said. What? The family membership. I stopped paying. After watching you stand your ground, I realized I didn't have to keep funding Rachel's lifestyle either. How'd they react? Same as with you. Guilt. Manipulation. Demands. I didn't cave this time. Good for you. Amy's pregnant. We're not telling them until the baby's born. I smiled. Smart move. Learned from the best. Here's how it looked from my side. This wasn't really about $200 a month. It was about value and visibility. Daniel's family had created a hierarchy where worth was measured by traditional markers: marriage, children, staying close to home, fitting into expected roles. Daniel failed all those tests by their standards. He married a woman they barely knew. He didn't have kids, or so they thought. He lived across town. He worked a boring job. So when Rachel needed money, Daniel became useful. Not seen. Useful. The psychology here is fascinating. The family genuinely believed they were being fair. In their minds, Daniel and Trevor had disposable income because they didn't have children. They couldn't conceive that maybe Daniel and Trevor were saving that money for their own future children, or that they had other financial goals, or that they simply didn't want to fund someone else's lifestyle. The family membership language is particularly insidious. It frames taking Daniel's money as him buying into family belonging. Pay to play. Pay to be loved. Stop paying, stop matching. And that's exactly what happened. The moment Daniel stopped sending money, he disappeared from their consciousness. 6 months. Nobody called. Nobody texted, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Everything okay?" The relationship was always transactional. The money just made it obvious. When Daniel had James and didn't tell them, their reactions revealed everything. They weren't hurt because they loved him and felt excluded from a major life event. They were hurt because they felt entitled to access, to his son, to his life, to his resources. Notice how none of them, except Trevor eventually, apologized for the underlying behavior. They apologized for making him feel used, not for using him. Big difference. What this story taught me: family relationships require the same boundaries that any healthy relationship requires. We're taught that family is different. That family gets unlimited access. That family deserves infinite chances. That blood is thicker than water, and you have to forgive family no matter what. But that's not true, and it's a dangerous lie. Family members can be toxic. Family members can be manipulative. Family members can drain you financially, emotionally, and spiritually. And you are allowed to protect yourself from that. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to create distance. You are allowed to cut contact entirely. The hardest part is that it often doesn't look like abuse. It looks like helping. It looks like being there for family. It looks like contributing to your niece's piano lessons and your nephew's hockey tournaments. Who could object to that? But when help becomes expected, when boundaries become selfish, when your worth is measured by your willingness to fund someone else's choices, that's when help becomes exploitation. Daniel didn't cut his family off because they asked for money once. He cut them off because they created a system where his value was tied to his financial contribution. And when he tested that by removing money from the equation, he discovered he had no value to them at all. That's the test. Remove what they're taking from you: money, time, emotional labor, whatever, and see if the relationship still exists. If it doesn't, it was never a relationship. It was a transaction. Here's what I want to know. Was Daniel right to keep his son's birth a secret? Some people will say yes. His family had proven they didn't value him. So why give them access to his most precious relationship? Others will say no. Keeping a grandchild from grandparents, a nephew from aunts and uncles, is cruel regardless of the circumstances. Two wrongs don't make a right. I don't know the answer. What I do know is that Daniel made a choice based on protection, not punishment. He wasn't trying to hurt them. He was trying to shield his son from people who might teach him that love is conditional. That worth is measured by what you provide. That boundaries are betrayals. But is that his choice to make? Or does his son deserve the chance to have grandparents, even imperfect ones? And where's the line between protecting your child and depriving them of family relationships? Drop your thoughts below. I'm genuinely curious what you think. Would you have done the same thing in Daniel's position? Or would you have given them another chance? Given them another chance. Given them another chance. Given them another